All right, mic check, mic check, mic check. Mic is on. I should be able to hear. Also see the screen. Mr. Blue here, TradePhantoms.com. Hopefully everybody is up and well. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. What's going on, Donnie? Blue going to sound different today. What's going on, Mark Wahlberg? Yeah, surgery was moved there. So yeah, here on YouTube. I wasn't going to do this today because of yesterday being Wednesday, the live trade room. But we're here. Yeah, that thing got moved to later in June. So we are here now. Mr. Blue here, TradePhantoms.com, of course. Let's get to work here on this Thursday, the 28th of May, 2026. I'm your guide, your host. I will run through some pre-market prep. We'll start out with some news, some news announcements. We'll get to the charts, of course. I'll set the kind of backdrop with some levels, etc. Set up some G traps and futures. And then the bell, of course, will ring at 9:30 a.m. Eastern to start the regular trading session. And if we have any trading setups off the open, I will execute if I see anything here. ForexFactory.com, just real quick, just checking really briefly, just a website here for plant economic news, as I mentioned. And we did have about 22 minutes ago at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We did have core PCE and prelim GDP, which is pretty much high impact. It's very inflationary, right? Or it's in regard to inflation or not. So that is something that's noteworthy there. It did come in a little lower than expected. It did come in a little bit lower than expected. Markets, as we'll get to the charts in a moment. Of course, we're going to see how the price action is going to unravel. No matter what, okay, but markets did take a little bit of a bid. You'll see futures did kind of have a little bit of an up move off the back of that. Okay, we'll see if that continues. Of course, we're going to get into the charts there as always. All right, but before we do that, here is the charts. But we got the SPY here on the right, daily time frame on the right. We also have the weekly time frame of the SPY here on the left. What's going on, Julie? What's going on, Anchors? What's going on, Bucket? Hey, Amy. What's going on, Naz? Dennis, I see you. Kimberly Sutton. What's going on? Luke. What's going on, folks? Got some Phantoms members in here, as always. So we got a weekly time frame on the left. All right. Got a daily here on the right. We'll break down this chart a bit further, but we bring this document up every single morning. Institutional demand and supply. True demand and supply is how the markets work in general, is the main strategy here at Phantoms, of course. Emphasizing top-down multiple time frame analysis approach. You're going to see three major colors on my charts: orange, yellow, and blue. Anything that you see in the orange color code is going to be a monthly time frame association. Last month's high, last month's low, VWAP, etc. Weekly time frame is going to get a color code of yellow. So last week's high, last week's low, as you can see highlighted there in yellow. Okay, we're already trading above that right now. Already kind of using that yesterday and on Tuesday as well, using last week's high, if you will, and the prior all-time high as well, mid-May. As some retest here on the other side. We have this massive gap here, but we cannot fill this gap so far. We'll see what today offers, but we'll get to the charts. But as you can see there, last week's high highlighted there in yellow, and we're kind of already trading above that and using that as just kind of some demand here, right, if you will. We'll see if that continues today. Daily time frame is going to get a color code of blue. So yesterday's high, yesterday's low, essentially highlighted there in blue. Yesterday was basically an inside day, the prior day's high. And prior day's low, we swept really lightly below the prior day low, which is one of the things that we were kind of looking at in here. All right, so trading yesterday in the middle was not ideal. Okay, so I had to kind of battle that little sideways range yesterday, but we did kind of swipe the prior day's low if you were in the trade room yesterday. Bullish candlesticks, a bunch of fancy names. Context, location. What's going on, Donnie Footnote? Context and location is going to be more important. There's a bunch of fancy names for these said bullish candlestick prints. We're going to look for these prints in the context of uptrends and structure uptrends at pulling back down in the location of demand. Same thing for the downside, just in reverse. Preferably context structure downtrend, lower low, lower high, rallying up into a level of supply in context of location. Okay, looking for these candlestick prints, which is bearish. Okay, you preferably wanted to look for those at a supply level in the context of a downtrend. All right, we got a liquidity map here. We discussed this more. Of course, Phantoms members will know how to kind of break this down. Of course, we discussed this in classes here, but there's two actions in the market, buys and sells, but there's four possibilities knowing the difference, right? Because there's buys and demand that creates demand. There's sells that create supply. but there's accumulation and distribution. So the markets just operate in such with these four orders possibilities, and you got to know the difference in that. You can buy to enter, which is going to be bullish, and that is an accumulation order to get bullish or long. And then you are now a market participant as a willing seller. So at some point, you'd have to sell to exit to realize gain. So if the markets do rally, you would sell to exit to distribute to realize your gain. If you did buy to enter and the markets dropped down, violating your demand level, okay, I got stopped out of a NASDAQ trade 2 times yesterday, by the way, in futures. Okay, I got stopped out. Okay, so I had to buy to enter, but then I had to sell to exit as a distribution order to realize a loss. However, you can also sell short to enter, okay, which is bearish, and this is going to be an accumulation order. Okay, a little bit different than a distribution order, sell to exit, but these are both supply orders here. Sell short to enter is an accumulation to be bearish. You'd want the market to go down. If the market does indeed go down, now you'd be buying to cover because now you are a market participant to exit as a buy to cover, to exit a bearish trade short. If the market is going up and you sold short and the markets are continuing up, well, you still have to buy to cover to exit, okay, to realize your loss. So that's going to be a distribution order. What makes more demand? Buying to enter accumulation and buy to covers, exiting shorts on the wrong side. What makes more supply? Selling to exit from bullish trades and also sell short to enters, accumulation of bearish trades, which is going to provide more supply dump on the market. We break this down into 4 quadrants, 1, 2, 3, and 4. We have to go through this in terms of what's called multiple time frame analysis. 3 and 2 connect as an uptrend, 1 and 4 connect as a downtrend. This has orders of execution in the plane here in the quadrants. Okay, demand or uptrends, waiting for a pullback into level demand, mean reversion entry, extension exit, sell short rallies into supply, mean reversion entry on a downtrend, extension lower low exit. Again, that is a pretty deep, heavy topic there, and this is why we have classes at Phantoms. Okay, we discussed that exclusively. Okay, in the advanced futures classes there at phantoms.com. All right, cool. That's done. Just to set the preface and the backdrop there, let's get to the charts here, starting with the four indexes here. Okay, so daily time frame across the board. Got the S&P futures upper left daily time frame, essentially flat. Okay, but down what a 1.5, 0.02%, essentially flat, right? NASDAQ roughly the same way, essentially flat. Dow Jones lower left down 0.16. We got Russell 2000 flat. So everything that's going on in the backdrop right now from yesterday into today this morning, futures are just flat. So if we just kind of pop open this daily time frame of the S&P, I just like to start, daily time frame here, S&P futures. Just like to kind of start with a somewhat of a clean kind of chart here. We're going to go to the trading view chart in a moment after this, and we're going to get a bit more refined. There's going to be a ton of notes, etc., on that other chart, so it could be a bit overwhelming. So I'd like to just start here real quick on a nice clean chart. We're at all-time highs. Yesterday, 75.70, new all-time high. Took out this previous all-time high there. Okay, and I guess for what it's worth, you'll see the NASDAQ in a moment when I click over. We kind of broke this new high, of course, in the NASDAQ and the S&Ps, and NASDAQ popped out a bit more and is using this previous all-time high as a kind of retest, support on the other side. S&Ps are still somewhat doing that. Okay, somewhat still doing that here. So, so far, over the weekend, of course, we had a holiday Monday. Futures were open on Monday trading, so we had to get that gap up. So kind of combine those 2 days that there. Okay, so we still have not really snapped or even attempted to potentially. Well, we kind of semi-attempted to break below and kind of fill this gap here. I still have that on the radar for today. Again, that will be noted on the trading view chart. Okay, so we don't have to waste time right now to mention that. Okay, but there is that unfilled gap right there, 74.85 sub handle. Okay, but we have this gap abyss. Okay, we have a valuable member named Vault E. He's a funny dude. He's a good developing into be a good trader. And we were talking about this yesterday, and we have what's called the gap abyss. Okay, so right below this daily low and yesterday's low as well. Even overnight futures, you'll notice in a moment. Okay, we did swipe below these daily lows. Okay, into this gap abyss there. It didn't happen yesterday, which I was kind of hoping for. We have a positive market maker gamma level right below those prior day lows. It's actually the same for today as well. So we're actually going to talk a little bit about that soon. Okay, but even if even if we did have a bigger drop down, okay, say for example today and or tomorrow, okay, we are still in the context of an overall uptrend. So if we do happen to fill this gap, okay, we still have this level of demand down here below. Also last week's low, we got that 20p moving average hovering around there as well. All right, so we'll drop down the small time frames, you'll see, and we'll have some refinement, and we'll break down some levels. Okay, NASDAQ, same thing. I just switched over to the NASDAQ daily time frame. Of course, new all-time high yesterday. A little bit of a doji day yesterday. Some folks actually took a little bit of a short yesterday too. Took a little bit of a short NASDAQ. I was late to it a little bit there. But I ended up getting a couple stop losses on NASDAQ, as I mentioned there. I started to deal with the NASDAQ inside of Globex high, Globex low, took a level of demand too high up. So we kind of needed to come back down a little bit more further, which we did. I was mentioning that we have this previous all-time high here. Okay, positive COG a couple days ago. Over here provided this new follow-through high here. Okay, what was once all-time high. So far, overnight futures, we kind of retested that right there on the other side there. And so far, okay, futures are bouncing off of that level there. Okay, so interesting there. Of course, we're going to map out our Globex high, Globex low, and chop it up a little bit more in terms of refinement. Okay, so far, this candle is a hammer. Right now, we're buying up a little bit here off of that kind of retest, 29,784 here on the other side. Okay, off of yesterday's kind of doji. But, okay, we're just kind of somewhat, quote-unquote, getting started here, sub 28 minutes away from the regular trading hours open. So, the day regular trading hours is just getting started here. So, of course, this is not nowhere near being closed in terms of daily time frame here today. Okay, but so far we get a bounce off of kind of this retest level here on the other side. All right, Russell 2000. Okay, small caps. I mean, a great market, I guess, but small caps are kind of following through as well here. Got Dow Jones finally trying to kind of break out there. Yesterday was an inside day of Tuesday's candle here. Okay, yesterday's high, yesterday's low. But this is yesterday's high, yesterday's low. But this is inside of the prior day. So inside day here. And again, just another inside because as basically the Dow Jones is flat as well. All right, so just real quick, showing the lay of the land here as well. I'm going to switch over here to different time frames here, associations. We have a monthly here on the left, weekly in the middle here, daily on the right, monthly, weekly, daily. This is Nick or Swim. I mainly trade options here on this platform. However, we are going to drop down, okay, multiple time frame analysis into intermediate time frames as well. So this is the high time frame, monthly, weekly, daily. Even if you are a short-term trader, day trader, you still want to know where you are on the bigger picture on those higher time frames, monthly, weekly, daily. Can't stress that enough. We got a 60-minute time frame here, upper left, 30-minute time frame here, bottom left. Kind of use this as an intermediate, kind of middle time frame here, if you will. Some folks use a 4-hour here, maybe the 1 hour here. All good. All right, just all good. Just stay consistent. Got a 5-minute here and a 2-minute here on the right. And this is going to be used as the small time frame. Okay, so multiple time frame analysis, monthly, weekly, daily, high time frames, intermediate, 60-minute, 30-minute, middle, if you will. And then we get the smalls, 5-minute, 2-minute here, just multiple time frame analysis. All right, key there. All right, going into the S&P futures real quick here. We kind of broke it down a little bit there on the daily time frame, but we're going to get a bit more refined here. Okay, got a weekly time frame here on the left. All right, and so you can see there's a bunch of kind of notes and lines on this. So weekly on the left, of course, we've been having a just massive continuation follow through here so far. I mean, I know this can't last forever, of course. Okay, we're reaching some interesting levels, 10%, 20% up, which we've been discussing here at Phantoms. We got 25 minutes into the open, so I'm just going to push forward here. Okay, so even though we have this gap fill, this gap up, okay, that gap fill is still unfilled. So I have that note there, 7491. Okay, last week's close, which is essentially last Friday. Okay, we have a gap up over the weekend, etc. We still have yet to potentially fill that gap. So that's definitely noted there at that 7491 level. Okay. Now, if I just drop down to a daily time frame here on the left, what I'm going to do here is drop down to the 1 hour time frame here on the right. Okay, this is where we're going to get a little bit more refined here. Okay, so this is essentially Tuesday's candle or Monday's candle right here, and so we had that gap up, a nice little move up. Okay, S&P's making futures here, making new all-time highs. But for the most part, long story short, is yesterday and even today so far, we've been just basically joshing around inside of Monday's high and low range. Now, if you noticed overnight, what we did do, okay, and even yesterday, we were speaking about this yesterday in the live trade room with the team, is always referencing prior day's lows. We were mentioning that we wouldn't be surprised if we came down and swept the prior day low. That ended up happening late day yesterday. Okay, so we kind of swept below there. Okay, for a kind of a G trap and a daily trap low there. Markets did kind of bounce back up. Okay, off of that, closed inside of the mid range yesterday. Now overnight, we did kind of sneak back down below that as well. Y'all see that team right there? Okay, and potentially there could be some people who are trapped. Okay, who are trying to chase that price down, new lows below these daily lows on a new lower low tag on the small time frame, potentially trying to fill that gap lower down here. Okay, for a potential target on shorts. Now, as you can see, we didn't close. The daily time frame is not done yet. We swiped it back up, and it's kind of coming back in here and coming back inside the middle of the range here, and actually even basically trading back above. Albeit we do have this weekly time frame here, VWAP, which is this week, and as you can see, this is going sideways right now, just because this week we gapped up, but we've just been going sideways, and we are kind of trading a little bit back above that. Okay, team. So that's kind of noteworthy there. Now, in addition to that, what this created was a Globex high, which is represented by this kind of turquoise blue line right there with a note, Globex high, which is just a fancy word for overnight high. We also have the overnight low or Globex low right there by that blue line, Globex low with that note. Okay, so this is the Globex high, there's the Globex low. Here's VWAP for the overnight session here, okay? And so far, we're trading back above that as well. Okay, so we're back mid-range, okay? We're back mid-range for this week, as you can see, okay? But the bulls are trying to potentially showcase themselves. We'll come back out here as well. We did have the latest hourly bar close here with a positive COG, okay? Now it's a positive COG in the middle of a range, okay, overall, but this range is middle of the range, but still overall macro uptrend, okay? So the only concern that we have to be today is going to be this middle range here, right? And the other thing that I'm noticing here too, in regard to this is an intermediate time frame, which is a 60-minute time frame, okay? But we do have a little bit of a new lower low, okay, from overnight, okay? But then we retrace that, and then this failed to make an equal to, or at least for right now, new lower low, okay? And this did get violated here on a very small time frame, okay, intermediate. So again, we have to be a little cautious with what I'm saying here. Just because we are still just overall in the range. But remember, this is range, okay, for this week so far, which is still not done for the week. We still have today, Thursday, and Friday, but range with overall macro picture uptrend, okay? So we'll see. So the interesting thing about today is, if this level right here does not get taken out, then, right, that level right there, if that level does not get taken out potentially, then, the bulls could be just putting in kind of a stance there, right? The bulls will have their hoofs. I guess bulls have hoofs, right? Supported there, if you will. All right, but also we have this Globex high here. Of course, we have just Mondays and Wednesdays, yesterday's high and Tuesday's high up there. Now that would be a level of, I guess, supply, the all-time high supply, okay, above the Globex high. So you can reference this area up here, okay, 75.67. Also noteworthy too is in regard to supply above, even though it would be within the Globex high, we do have this level here as well, right? So again, we do have levels of supply above. We have a bit of a level of demand below. Okay, sounds like a stock market, right? So it'll be interesting to see this level down in here, 75.20 for the bulls to potentially hold there. And then we also have this 75.54 level. Okay, now these are going to be levels within, okay, the Globex high, Globex low, which you always have to be a little bit more cautious within those, okay, as typically you'd like to find some liquidity above the Globex high, which is why I'm referencing this area up here, okay, and below the Globex low, which is right there. There's the Globex low. So we have to reference, okay, the next prime level or decent level of IOF demand, okay, would be this 7491, which would be the unfilled gap, which would become filled in the event that we get down there, okay? So this is going to be the first kind of G trap here down here, if you will, that gap fill right there at the 7491. All right, just watch out, as we were mentioning with this gap abyss trap. Okay, there could be, a bit of what's called a right below that Globex low. Again, trapping these people who are trying to fill this gap lower down here. Okay, you can get swiped. We're also going to look for what's called market maker gamma. Okay, exposure, which I'm going to talk a little bit about right now. Okay, so if I just focus just really quickly, I'm going to kind of transition a bit here to the SPX. And what I'm looking, and I'm going to go to the NASDAQ in a moment as well here, okay, but I just want to get this on the board. Here's the SPX, right? And it's the cash index for the S&P 500, okay? And right now, we're basically flat, right, team? So pre-market. So let's just say, for example, over the next 20 minutes, we're going to be opening up, roughly speaking, about 75, call it 20, okay, give or take. Maybe a little bit down, maybe a little bit up. I'm going to go over here to what's called the options depth tool here. This is not Phantoms. This is a tool that we use here. You have to pay for this tool, of course. It's not free. We're not affiliated with them or anything like that, but this is a great tool that I like to use in that we can look for what's called market maker gamma, which is an option Greek risk or exposure, essentially where they have orders on their books in which they would need to potentially hedge their books. It's a pretty heavy topic. We have classes on this as well. Here's a kind of a slide right out of one of the classes there. And the key takeaway is either we're going to be in a positive gamma, kind of a neutral, or a negative gamma. Positive gamma is going to be stable, plenty of liquidity. Okay, market makers buying into lows, selling into highs. Typically, you have a grinding price action up or a grinding price action down. Zero gamma is kind of just calm. It could just pop at any moment. We have negative gamma, okay, which is unstable. quote unquote unstable, high volatility, and this has key takeaway potential for bigger moves. Okay. As markets are going down, market makers would sell and chase price lower. As markets are going up, potentially inside of a negative gamma regime, market makers would be buying in that same direction. Okay, accelerating that price action. Negative gamma is fun because prices can really move up fast and move down fast, whereas the opposite would be in a positive gamma environment. Now that's represented here by a couple of things here. On the left is going to be a heat map, and as you can see, there's yellow and red kind of colors here, and there's blue and green kind of colors here as well. Now where that comes from is breakdown by strike here in the middle. This is where we have the market maker gamma exposure. Calls are in green, puts are in red. Everything to the right of this axis is bought options from the market maker's perspective. Anything to the right is bought options market maker's perspective, and that's going to create what's called positive gamma. And positive gamma is going to have blue and green color code shades over here to the left. Everything to the left is sold options, and this is going to be from the market maker's perspective, and that is going to have color coded red and yellow gamma, okay, on the heat map to the left. Okay, key takeaway here is that we're opening up, roughly speaking, about what, 75.20, maybe a little bit up, maybe a little bit down. We're essentially flat, okay, for the most part, a little bit down. But what I'm looking for is, if I look at 75.20 here, okay, looking below price, we do have a negative gamma right there at 75.15, okay, but below that we have a positive gamma here at 7,500. This has kind of been the case here since for all this week, that 7,500 SPX level below, and we also have 75.85 and 74.85 and 74.75. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to draw a blue line, as these are going to be positive gamma nodes below price, 7,500, and I'm also going to put something at 74.85 and the 75 handle. Okay, so I already have this kind of somewhat lines prepared. I already have a line there at 7,500. That's going to be, roughly speaking, yesterday's low. Does that make sense? So yesterday's low is going to be super key. I already have that there. That's positive gamma. And then we also have a slight positive gamma here at 7,485, and I'm going to draw a green line here. Okay, and this is going to be green because this is going to represent that positive gamma below, and this is going to let us know that market makers would have to potentially buy, okay, down into this level, which is going to provide some potential demand, okay, in the event that we get down there. Now we also have a 74.75, which is right here roughly. That's closer to that gap fill. Does that make sense, team? There goes that Friday close gap up on say sub Monday, Tuesday, because of the holiday there. Okay, so 74.75 also has a positive gamma node to represent some buyers there from the market maker's perspective. Okay, so this lines up here. This would be lining up to the ES. So this equals SPX 7475 equals ES G trap slash also the gap fill. Okay, so in English, SPX 7475 is going to be very close to ESG trap here, 7490. Does that make sense? So this G trap bullish on futures, okay, down in here, is equal to the SPX 7475 positive gamma. All right, and that one is a bit of, you see that one right there, it's a bit of an outlier there. It sticks out quite a bit more there. Okay, now we have to put some emphasis on that 7500 there as well. Okay, we do have negative gamma above us here at 75.15, so that could potentially, if we do continue to rally, could we get above that, we remain above that, we could pop. Okay, but we're opening up at about sub 20, so we're actually going to have a 70. If we don't open up above 75.30, okay, there's a positive gamma right there above us. So I'm going to put a line there in red to represent some selling. We also have an outlier here at 75.70. Okay, so in English, what I'm going to do here is take a red line to represent positive gamma. Where are we? Go back to the SPX. And 73.30 is essentially yesterday's high, give or take. All right, so there's something there. So in the event that we do kind of pop up into this area here, team, all right, there's some positive gamma there. 30s yesterday high. Negative here, a little baby gamma here, baby gamma there. There's an outlier here at 75.70. I'm not sure if we're gonna get all the way up there. Damn, that's up there. Yeah, that's gonna be kind of crazy, but we can prepare that. Never say never, right? We'll see. I'm not sure we're gonna get all the way up there. Now before up here, there was little baby gamma nodes here, outliers. You can put a pin on the 40 handle and the 50 handle, fair enough. All right, the 40 handle is essentially the all-time high, roughly. All right, there's just going to be some hit points here. Then we get the 50. All right, so in the event that the bulls come out and play, we pop out new highs today. Okay, these are going to be, of course, closer levels that we would be able to hit, right, versus the 70 handle. All right, that's way up there. All right, so just mapping out some things above and below. All right, so you want to line up these gamma levels with G traps above as well, especially in the event that we are popping into potentially new all-time highs. All right, not sure if that's going to happen. We'll see. We had a couple-day basing in the past couple days, and we'll see if we can get a snap or a break. All right, so getting back over here, let's just do the NASDAQ real quick. NASDAQ futures. All right, that was what we just did there was mapping out SPX market maker gamma above and below, okay, and drawing the parallels to the S&P futures levels. Now here's NASDAQ, okay. Daily time frame on the left here, a little bit of a doji close yesterday, okay. Nothing crazy. We were high. We had to come back down a little bit here. We had prior all-time high here. We had last week's high over here, okay, and we broke that. We came back and kind of, of course, we broke that. Okay, over the holiday weekend, okay, on Sunday into Monday. Then we already kind of pulled back, okay. This was last week's high and previous all-time high, and we pulled back over there, and we already kind of retested that on the other side, and we already made a new high there, okay. Now, we retested that again. Yesterday, we kind of even mentioned this, right? We had a regular trading hours low there yesterday. That was the QQQ's low swipe yesterday that we were talking about, and the SPY, yesterday's low swipe, regular trading hours. We had mentioned that we did have a G trap bullish down in here at these weekly levels down in here, 29,790, 29,750. I did take a loss on NASDAQ in here because I was too high up here. I took a loss there. There was a G trap down in here too. It ended up working out there, okay. On that one, it came deep into the zone there. Okay, it ended up, giving us a little push out there towards the late day. Overnight, we did swipe again down below the prior day's low into this retest level of the weekly, and so far we did somewhat respect that. Okay, now that did create the Globex low here for today. Okay, so this gray space here is going to represent that overnight session. We opened up there. There's that VWAP for today. Okay, we swiped lower. Okay, we did snap a bit below the prior day low to retest that. So far, it is a hammer wick so far. Okay, there's more wick here than body so far, but we just opened up. We're about to just open up, so we still have a long more time to go for today. All right, below the Globex low, in the event that we do break this Globex low today, and we will swipe below this level, here we have that unfilled gap, 29,560. Again, we don't need to go too crazy there. There's already a note there. Okay, one thing that we could potentially look for too, this would be a bit more aggressive, but in regard to a G-trap bullish, you could also potentially look for a daily low swipe right below here inside of that gap abyss. Okay, so this comes out. This might be a little bit more difficult to cipher out because this all is an unfilled. This is a gap here, and usually on gaps we reference futures, but futures have a gap. Okay, so the futures gaps. So right below that gap fill is you can see the S&P. What has the S&P been doing? Just swiping a little bit below that that gap, and then and spiking up. Just overnight, S&P 500 swiped a little bit below that gap abyss there and swiped right back up. Okay, so potentially today, in the event that the NASDAQ potentially gets down into this area here, right below that that level, okay, we can kind of put a pin on 29. Just the even number right below there, 660. Okay, and this could be used as I'd say a G trap slash kind of gap abyss trap here. So it's a G slash gap trap here. This is going to be bullish. Make that font bigger, make it green to represent demand. Good enough. And again, that comes roughly, just right below here. Call it, even maybe include the 29,650. Perfect. All right, in the event that this happens, could be a bit of a trap there. All right, 29, 670, 29, 50 there. Could be used for a nice little G trap there. All right, above Globex high. Of course, for the bulls to kind of take it, we, of course, very simple, easy level right there. We need to snap above there, close above there. We do have, of course, this above. Now, this is just the overnight. I'm sorry, the the high of yesterday here, right? So this is all wick here. So we got to be, of course, if we drill down, there's be some smaller formations here. This is the all-time high supply. All right, there could be a little sneaky G trap right here. This is level on level here. Now I'm on a very small time frame up here, team, right? But we do have some kind of sneaky levels here. Y'all see this? A couple of drop base drops. These are above the Globex high, right? And these are tight and refined. So at least at a minimum, if long, these are going to be some TP tags. And these could be used as some potential G-trap bearish short. Now we are upwards up at around the 10% for the year levels on S&Ps. All right, so by rule, that is supply above Globex high for some G traps. All right, but this is going to be counter trend of the overall macro. All right, but that supply above that we have to absorb. All right, we got we got some stuff there. All right, this is recorded, so you can. I got to push forward. We got 7 minutes. Oh shit! For open, VIX. Where you at? VIX. Volatility index with the SPX. That's another heavy topic, but 7 minutes before the open, not enough time to explain as much in detail. But VIX 16, that's fairly low. You can go a little bit lower, of course. VIX down, market up. VIX up, market down. It's the most simplest way I can put it. All right. So just map out the overnight high, overnight low in SP futures, NASDAQ futures. We do the same thing in VIX. There's the overnight low. Off the back of news, VIX is going down. If the VIX continues to go down and stays down or suppressed, that could be more bullish for the market. Right now, VIX it's up, right? Overall, like up 0.61%, which is really nothing because we had a drop down in VIX yesterday. By the way, yesterday's VIX dropped down, and the markets did not really go up as much there, right? So that's another kind of this consolidation is pretty interesting. So I don't know if today's going to break out or bounce higher, but so far off the back of that news there too, we have VIX down. And if the VIX continues to stay down and kind of takes out the overnight low and remains just sub 16, maybe trickling down even more, that could just be more bullish for the market. Okay, and that's kind of where last time I just pinned it there. I put in the lips below the overnight low. Here's the overnight high. So if the VIX spikes, not just a quick spike, but takes out, I'd want to see it take out the overnight high and remains above that high. And if it continues to kind of spike and hold up and maybe give a little bit of a trend up, okay, that could be more bearish for the market. So just opposite, right? Inverse correlation, VIX down, market up, VIX up, market down. We just covered some gamma already. So we got that already kind of prepared on the SPX. Okay, and here's spot. I'm just going to try to get through as many tickers as I possibly can in the MAG 7, just because those options are going to be the most liquid to trade off the open. Here's SPYs. Yesterday Doji for the most part. Again, Monday, Tuesday, I should say, even kind of Doji, just kind of joshing around here. Okay, above last week's high. Right, there's the mother bar high essentially for Tuesday. We'll see no gap or opening up dead smack in the middle. So we're going to be careful with that. The Qs. ETF for the NASDAQ, which we kind of already covered. No gap, right? Basically just opening up almost virtually exactly where we closed yesterday. So nothing crazy there. Again, you can even see the Qs still held within yesterday's high and low range. Gold is getting interesting. I wish I had a little more time with you folks in gold, but I am looking at these 2 weekly levels down in here in GLD for some swing trades and also potentially some futures. Okay, put a pin on GLD 387. Okay, down to 370. This whole area here, I'm looking to set up. Might be a little bit early in the season for this, but I am definitely looking at some bullish. Not only, I'm not even talking about day trades. I'm talking swing, even potentially / longer term, some longer term plays here. So gold is getting pretty interesting here for some bigger plays. I want to see if we can kind of take this level out. That's been tested a couple times, so we get some more prime prices there. We'll have it. Tomorrow's going to be Friday, of course, when the live trade room will have multiple hours with the team. We're not there quite yet, but I'm definitely going to be starting to have a discussion more about gold at a macro level going forward, just as a footnote going forward. We got Apple, just real quick, has been one of the relative stronger tickers. Just been hitting Apple virtually every day, not every day kind of almost every day for the cycle here. It's just been doing nice work here in terms of just bullish trend and setting up some nice bullish trades there. That's going to end at some point, of course. We have yesterday's high, yesterday's low. We do have a slight gap down here. We'll just see how this unravels for the day. Amazon actually is somewhat on the dock here today. Here's why. Because of yesterday's close was a nice little positive CFG. I think the team was even kind of looking at this yesterday as well. Even for a day trade, we were kind of waiting for this potential pop here. I got weekly on the left. We got last week's weekly low swipe right there. Okay, pro gap up here, COG, inside bar here. Yesterday was another COG. Okay, officially snapping and breaking above weeklies here, etc. So next weekly high is up here at 273.60, but we could potentially have some fall through here on ticker Amazon here in the event that we continue to rally. All right, on this, we got a couple daily highs here. It's going to be a ton of supply. All right, some dailies. All right, so I definitely want to put an emphasis on that. This weekly high here could be a hit point if long, TP some here, a daily high right above that weekly high. But this could potentially catapult this market, Amazon here, potentially up. We'll see if that kind of goes. Yesterday's close was a nice little close there for that setup. AVGO, bit choppy here. Want to be careful. It's been having some decent little setups there, but we have to see how the intraday tape unravels. Google's been okay. Take a couple trades here, give or take. We still got this just, impulse. We're just kind of basing around here. Still got to watch out for this last week's low swipe right there. Amazon did that, right? Amazon swept below here, okay? And then Amazon did its thing, fakey breaky, and is now, kind of up here. Okay, so Google has a potential setup there as well. Get this weekly low down in here. Okay, we got this daily low right below here as well. This could be a liquidity sweep swipe here, sub 375 Googs. In the event that kind of happens fast there, look for a potential fakey breaky. All right, day trade wise, got to be a little cautious on it. We'll see. Yesterday, you took a nice little trade on Google. It set up nicely. I don't know about today. Tesla. I got long Tesla finally yesterday. I kind of missed my first entry, my entry order, which was down here. Ended up getting filled on those. Okay, so I got some long Tesla down here. 438. I think I grabbed yesterday, but I grabbed the 450. I think I got the 452. Strike call for Friday's expiration. Tesla today is gapping down. Okay, so that's not great for that position there. I've been working on Tesla for a little while now, for the past couple weeks here. But ding ding ding, there's the market. So that's a gap down. All right, we'll see how that unravels. All right, switch that to a 2-minute time frame on the left. I'm sorry, on the right. Daily on the left. Just while I'm here on Tesla randomly here, I'm just going to pull a daily VWAP. So far, it's a good bar that got put in for the first couple of seconds. Wow, Amazon. Off the open. Not good. Decent little bar there. Not great. Off the open. See how intraday tape. See how it unravels there. NVIDIA, wide range bar. Meta and Microsoft, wide range bar. Not closed yet. We're only 40 seconds in. Some NVIDIA calls here as well. It's a nice little bar that's getting put in. And we got, this is Microsoft. Putting in a bar as well. So NVIDIA and Microsoft, interesting there. Meta as well. All right, there's Q's. All right, Microsoft looking good. Even AVGO, NVIDIA looking good too. I'm going to grab some Q's just to overarch this. Long call Q's. Microsoft, long call, looking good. Come on. Come on, take a swim. Come on. All right, here's Q's. Yes, declines, Vol D lower, nothing crazy. Yesterday, the gamma regimen changed pretty fierce, so I want to make sure we're good here. I got to be a little cautious here. We got the SPX. We're on a negative gamma kind of ish area, so SPX does has a risk there to swipe down to 7,500 here. All right, so I'm going to be patient with Qs here. All right, NVIDIA. I'm going to lean into NVIDIA here. Meta failure, Amazon failure so far. This would be a lot better if we go above. All right, I'm going to lean into NVIDIA here. Long call here, NVIDIA. Microsoft pushing back on its opening day bar range. Let me see. So I'll go 215 strike call NVDA here, bullish. Copy that code, put it over here. This is the 215 strike call. For tomorrow's expiration date. All right, so what's this, NVIDIA? Let me see. All right, get some here. All right, Microsoft pulled back halfway bar into that wide range. All right, I'll call NVIDIA bullish. All right, don't like that. Close there. All right, so right here. $215 strike. All right, yesterday's high here. NVIDIA here, so again, maybe a first round of TP would be here. All right, you can even TP now. All right, I'm gonna take some out here in the video TP. TP some of the vid here. Google's setting up a bit there. All right. A little quick hit in the vid here. And we'll see if we can get, see if we can punch into the into yesterday's high. All right, so just make sure you got some TPs laid up here, okay? On the vid. All right. Oh my God, the chat's not updating. Oh my God, y'all are talking. Just realized that. My bad. I was wondering why we were so quiet. All right, we got Tesla. I mean, gap down inside yesterday's. Can't touch that yet. Again, I got the four. I got the four. Where is it? I got the 450s here. All right, I own these at $3. They're floating down. These are the 450 strikes. I got these in yesterday. All right, Microsoft. We're gonna hit Microsoft now. Looks like. Google's setting up decent. Maybe Microsoft's looking okay. Oh, it's just so annoying right there. Google might be a bit better. All right, we gotta be patient. We got spies and cues. The markets are a little heavy, so you gotta be careful with bullish exposure. Amazon, wow, positive COG yesterday's daily, but failure to push. We really gotta let the make sure we TP some of the vid here. We gotta let, for bullish exposure, we gotta let it prove it to itself here. Okay, markets are still, the indexes are a little heavy. They're a little heavy. NVIDIA, you know, TPing, right? All right, Microsoft is setting up somewhat decent there. MSFT. Markets are a little heavy, but we got MSFT ticker here. It's not the greatest condition in the world, but it's trying to go here intraday. Let's see if we could take us what's the risk on this? All right, long call Microsoft. Trade the 417. Go 420 for 270. Right, long call MSFT here. $420 strike. Tomorrow's expiration. Apple as well, fairly decent. All right, so what's this? This is Microsoft, right? I mean, if this doesn't follow through, this is that wide range bar off open here. I mean, if that fails, stop loss here. $140 if give or take here, right? On premium. All right, already following through here, somewhat. New higher day. All right, so what do we got to do here, team? A bit here. We already have a equal to or higher high. What can we already do here? What can we already do here, team? TP zone. All right. All right. So TP zone Microsoft here. Nice pop. TP zone. All right. TP Microsoft. TP Microsoft. All right, hit some TPs here. I'd suggest. Here we go. Nice little pop. TP zone. All right. QQQs, NASDAQ struggling. All right, whatever. We got some TPs there, right? And there's some on here. All right, we got to move on here. I got to check where NASDAQ is. NVIDIA at its VWAP. All right, nice pop on Amazon. Apple setting up. Amazon pop hit it. I mean, not Amazon. Microsoft TP. I'm already right here with it. Apple looking good, baby, for a bullish. I'm gonna lock in some more MSFT here. TP, okay. Microsoft. Why do y'all keep saying Mike? Remember YouTube a couple days ago, whatever the fuck. If you wanted to grab some of NVIDIA, here's an ad here. Apple's setting up a 1, 2, 3 go potentiality. What's this, NVIDIA? I'm adding to the video here. Apple, you got to get Apple. You got to get Apple. Long call Apple now. Better watch out with that NVIDIA play. Microsoft new high. Apple 312 done. 312 strike tomorrow expiration and long call Apple tomorrow expiration. 312 strike. Gotta watch out with the vid. Microsoft painting a $4 handle on premium. Let's go. Who's laughing now? I don't even know what's going on in the chat. I don't know. All right, this is Apple 312. NASDAQ getting hurt. We got a TP some more Microsoft. Let's go. Right, this is in Apple here. All right, Microsoft gunning. Nice TP some Microsoft P&L popping there. All right, got long Apple here. All right, you can even TP some Apple. Get a nice little pop. I TP some Apple if you I already have it right here to the left of myself here. All right, Apple, nice pop into a new high here. Blink, blink. All right, I have it right here. So I'm going to TP and then lock out some Microsoft. Nice push on MSFT, right, team? TP, I gotta get hit some 450 print on MSFT. Hit it now. Now. Yeah, NVIDIA's been annoying. I will say. Apple new high. That's the Microsoft TP there. We got an Apple push here. This actually has room. This was yesterday's high. Microsoft pop. There goes Apple pop. All right. Okay, TP. Apple and Microsoft, yeah. Hit it. Microsoft pop. There goes some Apple there. All right, Microsoft, I gotta hit it. It just went $4.99, man, $4.85-ish premium, give or take. There we go. TP sell into highs here to take a profit hit. There we go. All right. All right, now your stop loss could be trailed up to break even. Hear me? Stop loss could be trailed up to break even now. This can't hurt you no more. Nice trade, whatever. Nice wide range bar. Waited for a nice little pullback, backside, positive COG, follow through, TP. Nice fucking classic trade. Let's go. Classic. So, grateful. It doesn't always happen like that, but TP Microsoft right now, it's going to be pretty much a dump. I'm only going to be able to have, what, maybe 2 contracts left after this fill? Right. No. All right, Microsoft, nice pump. All right, it's going. All right, SPY's interesting. We got VIX just straight on lows. Funny. I'm just going to get long SPYs, man. Basically trading 750-ish handle. Like the 751 strike. SPX equal weighted mags are okay, I guess. I think they're pushing back a little bit. Mags are not super screaming up. So this range is just so annoying right now, man. Be patient with indexes at the moment. It's very whipsaw-like. This week. So I got to be patient here. Amazon had its VWAP down, but it's against a massive positive CRG up. And if you look at the weekly, it's up, up, up. So you might almost want to lean into Amazon, maybe for a leaning against this green bar. On Amazon, this might even be good to lean against this green bar pullback. We got a weekly. We got, it's trying to rotate here and get more alignment. You might even want to lean in. Forget the day trade of Amazon because we have a decent little. I mean, this level would be good, but I'm not sure we're gonna get down there. But Apple at VWAP. Yeah, if you wanted to add into something that is, Apple would be one to potentially add to relative strength wise. But you can see markets are just heavy. The indexes are just so range. This could come a bit lower. I see the 65. No, I didn't lock in anything on indexes just yet, Parissa. Great question. We're just dead smack in the middle of the range of this week. At least for now. All right, 3 minutes. We have a 30-minute bar close. We'll see. Bulls are trying to come out here. I mean, Apple. I mean, really just like add to Apple. I mean, the front side in on VWAP there is good. Just hit it because if indexes get some kind of bid. This is Apple, right? Let's add in the Apple. Tesla's looking interesting. Broadcom's looking interesting. NVIDIA took a nice little trade earlier, still in that, and then added to that. That's pulled back. Here's Apple. Right click. Here's Apple ad here. Microsoft new high. Microsoft pop new high. I gotta let go of T-piece of Microsoft. Tesla trying to do something there. All right, hit Microsoft. Microsoft, hit it now, 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 hit it now. I should be taking my own advice here. All right, Microsoft, hit it now. Nice. Yeah, I gotta lock some in here. I don't have a fuck. I only have only 2 contracts. I'm gonna hit one here. Nice. All right, Microsoft. View. All right. Microsoft. What a nice trade there. All right, whatever. Only got 1 contract left, team, after that one there. But boing. Tesla. Uh-oh. First 30-minute push there. Oh my God, Microsoft. Microsoft. Mr. Blue, Microsoft. Shut up about Microsoft, everybody on YouTube. Raging. Bro's crashing out. Chill, bro. Microsoft. Spy pop. $447. Microsoft pop. Microsoft. But he's closing tomorrow. He's expiring tomorrow. Pick up the 447 half strike. Tesla long call. Spy pop. Damn, Microsoft. Man, I guess damn, that thing's gone. So, damn. Microsoft's doing Tesla things. Meta as well. Meta's coming up with a 200 daily EMA that we already tagged that, so we're gonna be okay. This is Tesla here, 447.5. Still struggling some just like weakness here. Hasn't really snapped anything yet, but this is what Tesla. I do like the 30-minute bar close. These are tomorrow's expiration. SPY pop, but it didn't break anything. That's the fucking annoying thing. And kind of the same with Tesla here too. $447.5. All right, can I get this here in or what? Oops. What? I already. Oh shit! I already have these in this account. That's why I gotta cancel those. Right, I'll add to this. There we go. What the fuck you talking about, Big Swing? Talking to myself here. Man, that immediately failed. Just a struggle. Huge struggle there. All right, I gotta be careful with this one here. Do not like that immediate failure on that. It's kind of in a weird spot right now. I mean, if you want to get a put, if you get a put and close below or around here. Right now, it's very rangy right now on that. All right, but I'm actually going to add. I'm going to add to this. Oh, this is the 450. I just added to the wrong one. I'm going to get this in the other account. I wanted to add to this one here. But Tesla's battling a little bit of, because we got high up there at that 445 handle. So they're battling that a bit. All right, Google putting in a decent little bar there. All right, I'm adding to Tesla here, 447. That's a hard setup there. If you wanted to grab a put, right now you're like balanced right on VWAP. You might be able to get a swipe lower. But Tesla's kind of a little bit balanced there on the day. Google, man, spies. Microsoft new high. Tuesday, first day of the week, open, wick here, close, kind of high wick, low wick, kind of small body range yesterday. Open here, small wick here, flush lower, closing here, and we're You see where we are in the here's SPY. Do you see what's happening here? Here's the all week so far here. See what's happening here, team? We're in the middle. Literally dead smack in the middle. And, you know, this is all kind of positive gamma above us. So it looks like it might be a little sticky up here to push. We got positive gamma above us here. Charm's good, though, for bulls. All right. You know, the first 30-minute bar is hammer. Basically for the day. Iron fly day could be a thing, a jam. Close in the middle. We got Apple, you know, popping there a bit. And actually has positive COG. I mean, markets trying to unravel a bit there, but this is actually an ad. I mean, you could even TP, but this is actually an ad potentially as well. See if you get some fall through on that. All right, so I'll add to Apple here. I mean, it's going to be the relative strength play along with Microsoft in the event that SPYs and Qs kind of take a bit higher. It's just Apple. Put some Apple ad. Okay, make sure you get some TPs laid out here. In the event we pop new high. All right, I think SPYs are telling me here. I got to get grab some here. I mean, the edge is just still so just grind out. Right, you can see this. If this base and pops uptrend right here, right? I'll see this. Look at this hourly candle. This is just Monday, Tuesday, beginning of the week, Wednesday, yesterday. So you see what's happening here, team. In 20 minutes, we'll have this 1 hour bar close. You might want to wait for that. Yeah, I see that, David. I mean, the Tesla whole kind of pump here is dying down a little bit, so we're going to be a little cautious on that. 30-minute bar close was a bit of a small little hammer there. And, you know, we're closed above the opening bar print here. We just need some juice. But we got this massive. We got this. Not. I wouldn't say massive, but it's heavy up here with gamma. Hold on. Give me a second, folks. All right. We got a pop. There it is. All right. There goes spies. See ya. All right. Get TP some Apple. Google if you got in. I got spies left over from yesterday. TP longs. RIP to the fucking shorts. All right. Apple TP. RIP to the shorts. Fucking see ya. Yeah, I just made a quick call for you folks, all right? Made a quick call to New York, and I said, pump this fucking market up right the fuck now. Don't make me take a flight down to New York City. Maya Mundani, you fucking weirdo. Fucking New York up. All right, TP. All right, Apple. All right, Tesla 447. All right. Fucking Tesla, baby. TP. Added to that bitch down there. Added to that bitch. Because I'm not a bitch. All right, calm down, bro. Yeah, Microsoft Paint 9. $8. Let that go. All right. What is this? Yeah, brother, that's the biggest thing when markets are tight and consolidated like that, and you got to watch out because it's range, and it's just and this is a pop in a positive gamma. So I don't know what the fucking news is. I don't know. I don't care. I don't know what the fuck happened, but it's a bull market and we get a breakout here. We get to you can grab some spies. I mean, now we can pull back here. We got breakout Momo now, momentum. All right, I'll just start here at the money's here, SPY. Doesn't mean we're gonna just go up the whole time here, but I'm gonna start to work on this. This is SPY here, 753. Long call. All right. Man, I might even begin to work on tomorrow's expiration date already. What's this, spies? People are working on my house. Well, not my house yet. Trump tweet, cool. Microsoft new high. NVIDIA fixing new high, baby. I'm gonna grab some cues. I might even just look at tomorrow's expiration on cues here, team. Fair enough. Good job, anchors. You're locked in, brother. Good job, anchors. Literally, when that spike happened, like 10 people dropped off here, so I'm sure they probably got short and they were probably pissed that they just bounced. Microsoft going. This is QQQ's. Maybe we just pick up a 737.30 delta for tomorrow's expo. We're trading. This is 5 points away, I will say. It's tomorrow's expiration. I'd prefer to get the 735 potentially, but I'd want to maybe get this on a bit of a pullback. The 735 would be a lot better. You know, NASDAQ still, and QQQs is still in its yesterday's high, yesterday's low. Yeah, Microsoft's a beast today. Sometimes it's not. Everything's about condition. So you got to try to catch the ones that are like, look at Meta today. Ugh, even NVIDIA, that's like intraday is like, ugh, even Tesla like is kind of slop. But if you look at Microsoft, nice push outside day. I mean, even Apple, good price action still inside day, however. And the Mag 7 is still decently bid. Still decently bid. Just overall and overall options world. So this is a 735 strike call in the QQQ's tomorrow's expiration. Okay, team. Now we haven't really snapped anything. You know, as I've been mentioning, QQQs are still, even with that move, we're still inside of yesterday's high, yesterday's low. Do you only draw overnight high and low on futures? Yeah, for the most part. Crimsy, for the most part. For the most part. Should actually I don't know why I'm not doing this, but I TP NVIDIA. Did y'all TP NVIDIA? Fucking idiot. I did not. Let's go, Jay Boone. Yep, Anchors. I'm in the live trade room tomorrow for Phantoms, indeed. What's going on, Aiden Turner? Yeah, this is what I'm looking at here. I'm just looking at these Qs push back a bit. Not bad, brother, right there, bro. Right, ATR on Qs for the day, because that's going to be tomorrow's expo. So, you know, we would need a pop tomorrow. Qs would need a pop tomorrow up to finish the week up, right? All-time high. You know, Q's daily ATR, give or take, is about, 10 points, 9 points. Right. So it's going to be this, if we're going to lock in some Qs for tomorrow's expiration, it'd have to be under the thesis that this is, this pump, this basing here is going to, have a nice, tomorrow end of week continuation pop. Does that make sense, team? Yep, and we're getting kind of high up there, right? And this is what's happening in the S&Ps and the NASDAQ as well, right? So, if you do that, tomorrow closes the end of the month, and then we have a new month come Monday, meaning June. All right, so I mean, we'll see. We could potentially get end of month, late push on monthly. We'll see. All right, but that's pulling back into the it's pulling back, and so if you kind of wanted to get it back on the other side here, the timing would be now, team. Okay. So 735. They're going for about $1.70 if you just wanted to get market right now. Okay. Now, I'd say be comfortable risking this total premium, $170 per contract, okay? Because if tomorrow we gap down and we're nowhere near 735, these could just be completely cooked, meaning you're losing that value. Does that make sense, team? Tomorrow's expiration, 735, using 735 because it's a 30 delta. All right, if you've taken the classes, a 30 delta, keep it low risk at first. And if we do get that pump, we get that gamma push. Okay, but you're gonna be risking $175 if you were to initiate this right now. Okay, you have to be okay with risking $175. You could add to Tesla right now, Anchors. I mean, it's not the greatest condition, but there'd be the time to do it now. Give or take, brother. All right, so I'm gonna lock this QQQ's tomorrow's expiration date in, risking $180 per one contract. Okay, tomorrow's expiration. I'm not even doing today's expiration. I'm doing tomorrow's expiration. All right, so we're taking a pullback down to the 730.50 price point on QQQs, but I'm picking up the 735 strike call. I'm going to put that over here on the kind of swing page over here. Okay. Good job. I think that's... Aiden, Tofu Man, my guy. Tomorrow's expiration, they're going for $2 already right now. 735. I don't really care about 25 cents in this account. What? I'll be risking $200 now per contract on these. You cocksucker. Oh, I shouldn't have said that. Bad words. Anybody add Apple into that little pop demand right there? All right, QQQ. Got it. Long call, kind of. What do we? This is a swing trade, I guess. Overnight swing, I guess. Tomorrow, we'll just say tomorrow. Long call for tomorrow's expo. Good enough. All right, so you get a pop. Shit, it's a positive COG. Bit more. All right, we'll see. So what we do here. In the next 2 minutes, this 2-minute bar, this 30-minute bar is going to close. And what would the 30-minute be? Positive COG. We'll see. First 1 hour bar will be officially printed here as well. On the left. And even if you look at yesterday's drop, that all happened in 1 hour, all day yesterday, just 1 hour. That was the one little drop that we had. This is an hourly bar. That was yesterday's drop. For the rest of the remainder of the time, all we did was just kind of grind and fade within that. Okay. So you see this market's up, down a little bit here for the week, but this is a 1 hour candle. This is a 1 hour time frame right here. I mean, could we broken, Monday/Tuesday's low at all? No, not at all. All right, so yeah, we're getting these downward moves, but we're not snapping anything to the downside, team. At least for now. Yeah, we're high as fuck on these markets. I agree. All right, but it can go higher until further notice. All right, so what we did here, we just got long, right? Long call. What did we end up doing? The 735, which is good because I was originally looking at the 737, so we got patient. All right, and waited for a little bit of a pullback. Okay, and that pullback, instead of doing the 737 call, it would drop down to 735 call, which would be better, which is closer. Okay, if you want this to go up. All right, these are out of the money right now. Of course, tomorrow, even today, shit, man. We want these to become in the money. All right, we'll see. All right, so we bought this call. It's going to be Friday's expiration, right? All right, does that make sense? Oh shit, Amazon. It's a good one. Who controls that first hour in on this today, folks? Who controls the first 1 hour candle today? The bulls and the bears, right here, where my little Mickey Mouse hand is. Who's showcasing their hand more powerful right now as we speak? The bulls. 30-minute close, the first official 1 hour bar close. Open there, swipe lower. Couldn't even snap yesterday's low. Green bar close. Still have not taken out yesterday's high, of course. We'll see. Only 1 hour into the session. All right. Bulls pick that back up. And then we have the first 30-minute red bar. The second 30-minute is a positive COG green bar. All right, we're above weekly VWAP, we're above daily VWAP. Okay, we had the nice impulsion move here. We corrected positive COG here in the 2. Okay, so all that's letting us know we got VIX on lows, right? We do have a 75.55 massive positive gamma above. That's definitely somewhat noteworthy there. Yeah, Apple and Microsoft pushing back. Oh, my runner on Microsoft not going. That already is gone, but we do have this positive gamma above here, though, team. Okay, at least for today. But we just cleared some of this. So I'm sure they're probably getting out of those. Yeah, those 75.30s got cooked. These people all selling calls up here. Retail, which is bearish, so it's going up. So they're getting squeezed out a little bit there. 75.50 SPX is pretty major. So we're pushing back off that, rightfully so. Nice. Tesla holding up some bids. We're above a piercing line on Tessie for the day. Yep, still have those SPY calls, anchors. If I'm going to do anything else in SPY, I'm going to be doing tomorrow's expiration date, even beyond this point here now. There's the 1 hour bar close on SPYs. 30-minute. We already had green bar lead against on SPYs, and hammer. We'll see. We just need to push, but the SPX 50 handle is a thing. So we spiked above that negative gamma on that, whatever that was, a tweet, whatever. All right, but the SPX 50 is legit in terms of a gamma. So we can clear this 40. This 50 is heavy. SPX 50 handle, heavy. Bloomberg says Iran reached deal, needs Trump's final approval. I guess we'll see, right? Yeah. Mark Wahlberg, Waluigi. I did a rookie, sold my Google calls at failure on VWAP, got swept. Joe Frank keeping the accountability on Mark Wahlberg. Mark Wahlberg's a high-level trader at this point now, and he made a rookie mistake today. It happens, brother. It happens to me sometimes too. But that mistake that you made, and that's what's key. All right. In regard to SPY, David Gash, Ramsel, Tesla, piercing line. Basically, when you have, so here's Tesla. I'm gonna go to a daily. Watch this. I'm gonna take this. Annoying. Fucking. That's the one I needed to. Okay. Save this PC. I'm going to take this. There's Tesla daily time frame. Now, before I go into there real quick, just watch this real quick. It's gonna be quick. I'm going to add to SP. I'm looking at SPY calls for tomorrow too. I'm not going to do 0 DTE here today no more. Here's Tesla. Okay, so monthly, of course, up. Okay, monthly up impulse correction, massive impulse. We were even on the front end of this at 395. That's old now. Okay, great. Weekly, we swiped up here, came up to that weekly, pushed back down. So momentum is still fairly, for the most part, up, and we got monthly, weekly, daily up, trading above the 20. The 20 is above the 200 here, so on and so forth. Right now, Tesla is not at new all-time highs here. Anything sub 500 would be, new all-time highs. We're trading 440. We had a ways to go. We only have one monthly level right there, 560 sub, right, and then the other one is all the way up there. Now we still have not cleared this level here. That's that monthly high that we looked at. I just mentioned, but over here on the daily, okay, is what's key here. Now, we had a nice move here. Now we do have. We are coming up. Okay, it's just a weekly high here. You got a monthly high there. We're already above these monthlies. So we do have this unfilled gap, right, which filled yesterday, right, coming to the 445. And this is where, we dumped some Tesla calls yesterday, right, Then we pulled back yesterday. I missed my entry on the 430, 435, 437. Parissa, a couple other folks at Phantoms caught this, right? I ended up getting it late day yesterday. I actually got those 350s, okay, 350s. I have those. I actually mistakenly bought more of them today, actually, which I'm not mad at, by the way. But where's that? Whatever, these ones here. So I was kind of looking at these yesterday. I wanted to get these for like $2.90. Ended up buying them yesterday at like $3, give or take. I even added to them today here. All right, so you can see I'm in there now. That's all the way. Let me go back here. Now that's all the way. The 450s are right there. We took a 457 day trade here today. I actually still have those on too. That's for tomorrow's expiration date. That's 447. Now in regard to the piercing line, right? So look at the daily time frame. If I bring this illustration back up here, all right, just only focus on the daily time frame here. Okay. Now we still do have monthly up, weekly up, and daily up. Now yesterday we did gap up. We hit that gap fill there, 445. That was the area target where we took some profit. We did push back down, and we didn't fill quite this gap here. We closed there. We moved up. The wick came down and retested the prior day's high there. That's what we talked about yesterday. Okay. Now, today we have a gap down. Okay, we have a gap down. It is still an inside gap. So Tesla was almost going to be outside gap down here. Now, in the event, even if it did outside gap down, notice how we have a red bar prior day, even though it's a little bit of a wick right there, a bit of a small red bar prior day, then we gap down. Now, even if this was outside gap, if you notice, if you come back, okay, and you, of course, if we're in an uptrend, which we are, okay, I wanted to make sure I had to keep that context in line there, right? If you come back and you close halfway through the prior red bar, of course, in the context of an uptrend, that's a piercing line, okay? And so if we can kind of get back, it would be even better if we kind of overtake the whole bar. I'm not sure if that's going to happen, okay? But the more that we can kind of get up and close, I would love to see it even close above yesterday's open of 443, okay? And the more that this can get up, it's not going to be an engulfing COG. But if that were to be the case, we'd have to close above yesterday's high, which would be 446. Okay, so for the bulls in the context of an uptrend, even if we can kind of get halfway back and kind of close at around halfway the piercing line there, that could still be a sign of the bulls trying to take over. Okay, of course we have to hold yesterday's low in that as well. All right, now this is all said. We have to make sure that we are in an uptrend, monthly, weekly, and daily. Okay, it is right. Yes, we have this supply above, of course. All right, and today, for the week, I'm only going for the week here. For tomorrow being Friday, we'll see if we can get potentially up here. Okay, sub 447, 448. If we tag the 450 tomorrow, okay, the calls that we have could potentially be printing there. All right, so hopefully that makes sense there. All right, SPYs. I'm gonna grab some for tomorrow. We're trading basically 7.2 So everything that I mentioned in the Qs a bit before, I got to take a piss. So I'm probably going to be ending this session fairly soon. This chat sucks. Not y'all, the way the chat is, the way it sucks at scrolling itself. Not y'all. You all suck in here now. The chat bot is annoying the way it's not updated, so I have to keep on doing it myself, which is kind of annoying. What am I doing here in SPY? I do not want to get. I'm not going nowhere further away from like the 755. So I'm not going crazy deep out of the money on these. So I watch Mr. Black, but he likes to do the order flow boxes. Do you do those as well? Yeah, demand and supply. Yes. I'm always looking at demand and supply. I just emphasize some monthly, weekly, daily lows in addition to demand and supply. That's all. But the demand and supply levels that you are looking at, all you got to do is map out the monthly, weekly, and daily highs and lows. Just a couple above and a couple below. Starting with last month's high, last month's low, last week's high, last week's low, yesterday's high, yesterday's low on dailies. Yeah, Scott. So I'm doing the same thing. I'm doing the same thing in terms of order flow boxes. Yeah, doing the same thing. Yep, no problem. Gotcha, man. Okay. Apple, Microsoft played ball today, putting back in those bids. All right, SPY. Let me see. Let's see if we can lock in maybe a 755 here. VIX down. Fucking Qs, man. Just add to Qs. Where's Qs? I don't want to get too zealous. We're not broken yet on this, but I'm just going to add to Qs here real quick. I already got this set up in Prime right there. Add to Qs tomorrow. Already have it open here, basically. Adding to the Qs just because that's already kind of set up there. And we're going to, yeah, I'm not mapping out like hourly highs and monthly, weekly, dailies, map out those. And, I'll map out like a 60-minute demand supply, like high or low, whatever. Yeah. But, I'm not mapping out like every single, if that makes sense. So you swing Tesla, NVIDIA, Apple, Qs, now SPYs, long tomorrow. Is that not too much bullish exposure? Not for myself, Aiden. If you don't feel comfortable, you can lighten up. But the Apple I'm already liquidated a decent amount. I mean, Microsoft, I only have one contract left. I'm loaded to the tits on Tesla, right? Just added to Qs. But we're in a bull market, brother. We just spiked up. I mean, we have one more day. If you don't feel comfortable, don't take the fucking trade, man. I mean, I don't know what to say. The markets are telling me to get long. Right? I have managed risk, and I'm deploying it. The risk is already done and set in, and it's already in the market's hands, if that makes sense, other than SPY, which I got to lock in. Right? You're already thinking about, like, being wrong. Like, I'm still figuring out what I want to do and manage my risk, bro. I'm not thinking about that right now as much, right? I'm just checking the setups here. All right, we're coming out of a range and basing. Okay, we're ranging for the past 2 days, and we're starting to pop higher. All right, we got VIX on lows. All right, I mean, this is all things that I have to say, get long. If we pop today, if we even pop on this, I can even begin to maybe even start to take some profit on some of the swings. Okay, does that make sense? I'm going to lock in this 755 on these SPYs here. This is tomorrow. Okay, tomorrow's expiration date. All right, these are going for a 755 strike. It's about a 34 delta, give or take. All right, so yes, in all fairness, to Aiden's Tufu's point there, if you already have too much or you're not comfortable with taking this bullish exposure too much, maybe don't take this one on the SPYs, for example. All right, that's key because yes, you don't want to over leverage and have too much bullish exposure. Okay, but if this is within your quote unquote risk tolerance, you could potentially take it. All right. So I'll just lock this in, and we'll see. All right, 755, right? Oh, let me switch to spies here. Tomorrow. All right. NVIDIA just, that didn't work out today. Well, actually, it did. I just managed it. Not so great. All right. So again, to Tofu's Aiden's point there, yeah, I would suggest to be okay if you lock these ones in. This is the 755 long call for tomorrow. In regard to risk, yes, I'd be okay with risking whatever you paid for them. Sub $1.25, sub 20, so on and so forth. All right. Yep, everything I did I took some profit on some Tesla, but I'm still, the 430s are not profitable. But yeah, I'm still in everything Tesla. I did sneak out of some TPs in the 447s on the pop, but yeah, still in holding those as well. Great question, Carissa, and good dialogue, Aiden, Tofu. That was we needed to that needed to be said there in terms of risk. It's valid. Long call tomorrow expiration. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. All right, make a note. You can carry this over into the trade room tomorrow with the team. Got some day trade spies too. We got to be, today's expo. We got to be cautious with those, right? This is that's Tesla. You can see Tesla 450. I still got these, right? Bottom at 3, bottom at 250 today. They're going for $2. Still good, still decent. Trading 440. Just can go on a 10-point rip tomorrow. We'll see. I don't know. What the fuck was I saying here? Yeah, NVIDIA has been annoying. How many contracts you typically put on an option? I'm up to, usually I trade a little smaller when I'm streaming. About 40. 40 is usually my standard kind of size-ish, and then I'll either kind of add or subtract. You hear my clicker, my mouse like this sometimes. Sometimes I'm calculating, like I'm not running a calculator on the other computer that I fill, but you'll hear my this right here. I'm either adding, subtracting contracts, or I'm doing math on the calculator to see how much I want to get in or out or minus or subtract. But usually when contracts are below about 350 or lower in terms of premium prices, I usually snag a standard kind of 40 contracts, give or take. When contracts are roughly about $5-something, give or take, I'll usually go a little bit lighter size, see what's going on there, and then because of depending on the size of the contract, what ticker it is. But roughly there, about 40 would be about standard, give or take. And that's still somewhat small. All right, this was what did we do? What did we pick up? The 755 strike, right, team? Now, if I say if I put the tomorrow note here, we talk about this tomorrow. It'll be today, so I'll just put the date of 5/29, which is Friday's expiration, right? So, first of all, we might not pop, but in the event that we don't pop today, and then whatever happens overnight, we are up here, new all-time highs. So you could potentially be taking some profit from the spies and the Qs up there. All right, does that make sense? All right. And that's the thing, folks. We, spies, it broke out. Okay. So you break out, here's a retest. And are we in a bull market still? Yes. Okay. So, are we going to go? Are we going to go equal to or new higher high? What are we going to do here? This is the thing. I don't know what's going to happen here next, right? But of course, we want a TP. Nas. I have to leave. Roast my boss. That's funny. When do you stop referencing last monthly weekly daily highs or lows after they get touched? Yeah, after the like for example, great question. So see how we have a weekly high here, all-time high there. We had last week's high there, which we already broke, and we've been coming back on the other side and retesting it, right? Right. Last week's high, previous all-time high there. We broke it. We've been retesting it. So the question is, when would I take these like off as a retest? And that would be, okay, if we test it, which we have been, it's still been holding so far, right, for this week, okay? And then it's respected right now, right? Now, if hypothetically we got back down here and then we broke this and we closed below this, okay? If we broke this and we closed below this, okay? We've already retested it. If we came back down again, we broke it. I'm not. I'm going to start to take off the retest levels on the other side. As we said, I'm still going to keep. Now because this was a previous all-time high. I'll probably put like an ellipse there, right? But I'm going to keep the last week's high there up until the new week, and then this could potentially be this. When we're trading next week, this will be potentially last week's high, and then in the event that happened, this would be last week's low. And so that would be violating the retest, right? And we haven't violated that. Okay, and that's that's another thing too. Is even though some of the some of the mornings that we've had here this week where the markets were going down, right? And there's been some a bit of some bearish trades that you were able to get. Heck, I even got a little bit of a short trade yesterday on Qs, but in all fairness, I did take a loss on a long. Okay, but short-lived, and then we haven't even broken these areas here. Okay, in the gap abyss there, and now we just popped new high. We just popped new high. Somebody was asking about, do market makers mess around with gamma nodes? And no, they don't. So that's the thing, team. When you're looking at like a level 2 data on, say, for example, on equity or stock, like that's why when I see people on, TikTok and social media and shit, and I see them using, and I'm not talking shit about anybody. I don't care. To each their own. I don't talk shit about another man. Another man's business. I don't give a fuck. But this whole like level 2 here is you got to be careful with this because there could be spoofing orders and iceberg orders on this. I learned that in New York City, Wall Street. All right. So we got to be careful with that. But here, in regard to options market maker gamma, these are all orders that are on the market making book. Okay, so you can't spoof this. That's the thing. You can't spoof this. That's why this is one of my favorite things on the planet. Because this is the SPX order, some of the order books here, right? Well, at least what the market makers risk is going to be based on Gamma and Creeks and Charm and Voma. Yeah, I mean that's why like even like Bookmap and all that, like if you ever read the book Market Wizards, I mean there's people that have there's spoof orders, right? And so I can be on the bid and say, hey, I want to buy 10,000 shares and flash that on the bid. But I really only want to buy 100 shares, but I'm just flashing 10K to get people to think that I want to buy, but I'm really hitting the ask and selling market on the other side. All right? I've seen that shit done in New York, okay, where you have a flash bid, okay, because you can put in kind of a flash bid as if you want to buy 10,000 shares. People will see that on level 2 thinking like, oh shit, look at Goldman bidding 10K shares. This must be looking to go up, but they're not really at 10K shares bid. They're only 100 shares bid, give or take. They're flashing that, but they're really 10K on the offer, selling that, okay, to people who are looking at the bid there. And they'll sell 10K, but they'll do that in micro, right? They'll sell with their 10K bid to sell to them. So you got to be careful, team, right? And that happens a lot too in small caps and some of the smaller stocks, okay? Because it's harder to do in like the mags because it's so liquid. But the thing that I like about gamma exposure is going to be there's no spoofing here. It just is what it is. Boom, right there. X amount of contracts, X amount, right? Market maker has X, customer has X. It provides a node there. How much risk do you have across the board in Tesla? I mean, so I have several trades on it, right? And so I probably have about 7% of risk on it at the moment. I did some math on that last night, but I took some off today, but then I just added some on today too. So I'd say roughly about 7, but that's multiple trades. I'm not going to even try to attempt to say your name. Jaha, haha, J-E, ja, ja, ja. If that makes sense. So, you know, I've legged into Tesla several times now. Any movies or documentaries recommend? Yeah, I'd watch this one here. You probably already know this one. This is the $1 trillion bet. This is a market. This is Black Scholes. This is a documentary here. There's another documentary, Floored. The GOAT, Mr. Blue, thanks a lot. Hey, what's going on, T Mimi? Appreciate that comment, brother. Hey, Blue, what's up with those super quick VIX wicks that happen from time to time, but spot doesn't move with it? Yeah, vol is like a balloon, man. It can like blow up and just deflate, blow up and deflate. So just probably just somebody getting in or out of a trade that made the bid of the ask spread, just kind of spiked there. If it doesn't close, it's not really nothing. I wouldn't stress about it. So you want to make sure that you have a close on a VIX up or down, as opposed to those like little swipes. That's all. Tesla 500 tomorrow would be wild. That's crazy. No way. I'll see you, Luke. Eric, hey, you're just lucky. Always, man. How do you think I made it this far? Just straight luck. All right, question, team. If we do happen to get an S&P, here's that spike high, okay? Even if we don't make a new, say, higher high in this area here, could we begin to take some profit? Yes or no? Now, which one? The answer would be yes. Which one would want to take profit first? The day trade, if you got into SPY's day trade long calls, or the swing trade long calls for tomorrow? Which one would we get out of first? The day trade. Okay, so here even here, these are going to be some take profits from longs. Okay, I'd suggest to take profit from the day trades first, if you still have them. Okay, and then you could also take some profit on some of the swings for tomorrow, right? But also, you can make that decision yourself. I'm not a stewardess of your accounts, but you could potentially TP some swing, yes. But you could also potentially try to hold those for tomorrow. All right, does that make sense? Okay. All right, so we got SPY pop here. This is the 0 DTE here today, right? So I'm just getting back to break even on these on this account here at least, right? So these are the ones you want to TP first. Okay. These are the ones for tomorrow. You could TP some of these if you'd like, but these are for tomorrow. And of course, the QQQs. NASDAQ, these are also for tomorrow as well, right? Google Pop. NASDAQ new high. You can TP some of these here. Let's take a little off, nothing crazy. QQQ. Peel out of the some of the day trade there on SPYs. We're going to peel out of some here on the SPYs here of the day trade. Okay. TP some of the day trade. Alfredo, Mr. Blue, you're the best. Hey, thank you for that, Alfredo. If you're leaving, bro, enjoy the rest of your day, brother. Good job. He's a member of Phantoms. He's a good guy. All right, cool. So the S&Ps and the NASDAQ giving an opportunity here to, just peel out of a little bit some longs here. Right. Tesla's trading 442. And all right, we'll see if we get new high on day. Even if we don't, we just distributed some, right? All right, NASDAQ on an outside day now. Noise. This is what you need. This is what you want. All right, good job, Aiden. Tofu, perfect fucking timing on the pullback there. Butte. And got new high. And uptrend, right? Is this what you've been taught at? So this is what you'll learn at Phantoms team. All right, uptrend, 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 uptrend. All right. Waited all morning here. Nice pop. Waited, pulled back, right? Impulsion, correction. New high. All right. If you wanted a TP, yeah, this would be the time to TP some right now, Parissa. I'm not know if this is going to happen, but sometimes you'll get this where you have like a new high. If this goes, TP some more, and then you might be able to get. Well, first of all, this could be wrong. Over, let's say the market later in the day, it does something like this. I don't know, right? But right now, looking decent, right? And so this is where you'd want to take some profit. You could do that, liquidate some, and then at some point, maybe later at some point, I'm sure we can potentially have another pullback at some point. Okay. Well, I'm going to try to hold those swings best I can. I even just shaved out of some here myself on Qs, right? Just a little bit. All right. Let's see if you can potentially try to add. Like if you did take some off there, I suggest maybe not to get all out. It's going to be tricky if you just get one. If you only have one contract on, I get it. But you shave out some there or a new high, maybe you can pull back and maybe add them back on. Damn, I wanted Amazon. Yeah, Anchors, I hear you, brother. You're a young kid, which is good, man. Starting young, so you're gonna be a. If you don't quit, man, you're gonna be a beast. Anybody sneaking Amazon here? We were kind of talking a little bit about this. Tomorrow's expiration. Dude, AMD's nuts. I do not want enough of that. Man, we were talking about that years ago at like $90, $100. I got some at 100. I got some at. I did not load up enough at 90. But way underweighted AMD. Annoying. Google going. If these Tesla bulls can pick this up more, I don't know. We'll see. Way too early for that. All right. I gotta go, team. I did overtime on this session here today. So I'm hoping that y'all are navigating this today. I mean, everything's good except for NVIDIA. Boo. Microsoft, absolute beast. Caught that with the team here. Apple, just so simple, smooth. Nice little layup over the past couple of weeks just to kind of get the morning coffee tasting good. It started. Tesla being a little wild, but we're navigating that. We'll see for that tomorrow. Your team was working on Google today. Take a peek at Amazon. The longer I'm here, the longer I see how patient you actually are. Much appreciated. Yep. This is why I do it. I'm a real trader. It's what I do. And everything I do and say is coming from an experienced trader. I don't do this shit to be cool, man. This is business. And I know when I have people watching me do my thing here, it's a very serious responsibility, as you folks are trusting myself to help navigate one of the most difficult endeavors on the planet. But it's my favorite endeavor on the planet. Skill set. Once you got it, you got it. Have a good afternoon, Blue. When you getting all the wisdom teeth yanked out, that got pushed to, so the reason why I'm here right now is I was supposed to get my, not to put my personal information on YouTube here, but I was supposed to get my wisdom teeth pulled yesterday on Wednesday, which would have me out of the commission for the rest of the week here today. We're not supposed to be here today, but that got pushed to June 24th. Out of my control there. So we got a couple weeks there for that. That's why I'm here. All right, if you want to learn, if you're kind of new on the YouTube channel here today, you see a ton of folks in here. What's going on, Malika? Joe Frank, I'll see you tonight. No, nothing tonight, Joe Frank, because we did the options classes that we would typically have tonight, being Thursday. We moved that to Monday because it was under the assumption that I was going to be out of commission on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday this week. Does that make sense? Right, so there's no class today. We did that on Monday, team. Okay, we moved the Thursday night options classes to Monday, the 25th, and that's already done. Okay, so we're not doing it tonight, if that makes sense. Okay, so tomorrow is going to be good to go, God willing. The live trade room as normally scheduled. That's already scheduled, correct? Is that already scheduled, team? Phantoms members? Hold on, let me check. If not, I gotta get that. I gotta make sure that's on doc scheduled there, right? No options tonight. I already said that. Like, there's no options tonight. Okay, we did it on Monday. No options tonight. No options tonight because we did it on Monday. All right. Yes, tomorrow the live trade room for Phantoms members, okay, is indeed scheduled. So we're good to go mañana. All right. Here it is on the schedule. All right, nothing tonight. This is tomorrow for Phantoms members only, not YouTube. All right, it's scheduled 8:30, which I start at usually like 8:37-ish. All right, let people kind of scramble in. It's only scheduled till 10:30. But Mr. Blue here, the way that I am, and as you can see, I still am not shutting the fuck up. I go all the way until about 12, until they kick us out at like 12:37 or whatever, because this live storm is a 4-hour limit. Okay, so I usually don't shut the fuck up until the software shuts me up and kicks us out. All right, so you guys and girls at Phantoms, usually I could, I'm only scheduled and contracted to do 2 hours, okay, from 8:30 to 10:30, right? But I just do more because it's the way I am. It's just the way I am. So that's on the dock for tomorrow. Again, there's nothing tonight on as far as classes. Okay, don't show up. Don't show up. We did it on Monday. All right, when's the next options class? Those are going to be on Thursdays. It depends on if you're in options, the focus class. There's also advanced options. So, for example, next Thursday would be the next options, and we're on, what are we on? Options Advanced Part 2. And then we're on, now we'd be on Options Advanced Part 1 next week. So you're probably not there yet. And then Options Focus, which is the basic class Part 2. So it looks like you might have to wait for the next cycle, give or take. All right, we got Phantoms members in here. If you want everybody who is a Phantom member started here, team. All right, if you are on YouTube visiting the channel, TradePhantoms.com. That's the link there, website. If you were to click on the register link there. Today being the 28th of May, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So we're almost 8 hours away from that, of course. Name, email. If you want to put your number in there and check this attend button, you will get registered for tonight's kind of class workshop there, if you will. It's about 90 minutes, maybe go more closer to maybe 2 hours, give or take, hosted by the Mr. Black. Some of y'all know that, Mr. On TikTok famous there, and or the Mr. Green. His topic agenda, okay, how markets work. We're all professional traders here. And not just about stocks, futures, forex, options, even crypto these days, right? Short-term trading for income all the way to long-term wealth management. It's kind of a one-stop shop for everything here. Short-term trading, long-term trading, all asset classes. If you're just starting out with a smaller account, all the way to we have folks that are managing, of course, bigger, larger accounts, wealth management. We have age groups all the way from high school all the way to, not that it matters, retirement, man. We got folks that are managing their retirement, okay, multi-millions, doing their thing, slow and steady, keeping it, growing it, right? And we have folks that are coming out of high school, college, starting to maybe start a career in this business and just starting to get their feet and their toes wet, and that's good. So we have range, spectrum here, come one, come all. We're definitely not a fit for everybody, and everybody's not a fit for us, preferably more serious folks. Okay, we take this serious. We have some fun here and there. We say some bad words here and there. But at the end of the day, when it comes time for the classes, and when that bell rings, all seriousness, we lock in and we try to help each other get better every single day. That's the goal. If that sounds cool, that's fine as well. All right, take a look. It's fine as well. The internet's kind of creeping out. I think I'm coming in and out of this, so therefore, I'm gonna click out of here. No class tonight. I'll see y'all tomorrow, and we even set up some swing trades for spies and Qs going into tomorrow. So we'll see how the team in Tesla. We'll see how that potentially unravels for tomorrow. If you're trading for the rest of the day, don't give back your profits. I'm out of here. Blue out. God bless. Take care. Peace.